Well, the STI is down again. I wish I was lying, but unfortunately it's already torn apart. I'm here to explain why that is. Our problem started about 2 weeks ago on our recent dyno visit. We went to the dyno because I swapped to Injector Dynamics 1700cc injectors on top of finally installing an ACT XTSS clutch because we wanted to hold more torque. We wanted our torque graph to be a lot more linear up top. Previously, if you look at the other graph, our torque pretty much died out after 4,500 RPMs. So our issues really started on our way up to the dyno. We had our base map for the 1700cc injectors. We kind of had a little bit of a rough idle, and on our way up to the dyno, we did have two check engine lights, P0000 and P0300. Both are essentially general misfire codes across all random cylinders. We went to the dyno. The car made great power on less ethanol, E60 compared to E65. We finally made 493 on E60, so anything over probably E70, E75 was gonna be over 500 horsepower. My damn state at 1 the entire time. It's just the idle was very, very hard to get and refine, and that was something we spent a lot of time trying to dial in when we were at the dyno. Once we got dialed in, we drove around Los Angeles, and what do you know? I got the two check engine lights I previously did mention, and on top of that, I actually got a check engine light specifically for cylinder 1, which is P0301. This led me to think, okay, what are we gonna do to fix this? It's probably not a software issue as far as tuning goes, it's probably a hardware issue. So the easiest thing to do, if you guys don't know when you're having misfire issues, is just swap coil packs. We swapped coil packs from cylinder 1 to cylinder 3. We did that, we cleared the codes, we went on a little test drive, and what do you know? A couple miles down the road, we still got the check engine light for P0301, which is still cylinder 1. So that obviously wasn't the issue. Right after doing the coil packs, we were thinking, all right, what's the next easiest troubleshooting step to go to? And that's doing the spark plugs. The old set of spark plugs I had on the car were NGK spark plugs that had about 10,000 miles on them. And I do drive the STI hard when I do take it out for a drive. So it was probably time for me to change them. We ended up pulling the plugs. They look decent. And we did install a brand new set of NGK Iridium plugs, the one-step colder plugs, and we gapped them down to 0.018. The old plugs were gapped to 0.023. Nevertheless, I don't really think that was a determining variable in terms of the issues I was having. And when we were reinstalling everything, I was thinking, you know what? It'd probably be a good time to just maybe even swap the injectors of the passenger side. So we ended up swapping the injectors from cylinders 1 to 3. And when we put everything back together, we cleared the codes again. We went on another test drive. We ended up seeing that the check engine light actually did jump from 301 to 303, telling us that maybe we just have a bad injector. However, I wasn't fully convinced that this was really an injector issue, just because when a car is on wide open throttle, like I had said before, there is no feedback knock, there is no hesitation, there is no actual hard miss. It is really only on idle. So at this point, I texted my tuner, said, hey, do you have a little bit of free time? And I decided to drive up back to Los Angeles and see if we can dial it in. On the way up to my tuner, I was thinking perhaps this isn't really a hardware issue, potentially it's an electrical issue that I myself did to my own car, because for those of you that don't know, I posted on my TikTok and Instagram recently, I de-loomed and re-loomed my entire harness as well as stripping wires and or connections that I truly maybe didn't fully understand the entire routing of it. I snipped them all the way to the bulkhead connector, which if you guys don't know, that is not how you properly eliminate wires. You're supposed to de-pin that main harness, which I didn't do. I just ended up cutting them out. So potentially that's maybe why we're having multiple check engine lights that are all around the same thing. Example P000, P0300, they're all around that same family. And maybe it's just a main harness issue, which, spoiler warning, I am actually getting a brand new OEM harness because I'm just trying to eliminate as many variables as I can. Anyways, we get to my tuner, we do a couple data logs, we go for a drive, we see how the car is behaving at idle, and we make a couple revisions to my current map. So what are those revisions? Well, my tuner increases the AFR. We ended up making the car run a lot richer. We are now at 12, when ideally at idle we should be about 14.7, but however, because we're running really big injectors, the idle is typically around 13. He does play with the injector pulse width, as well as overall lower the misfire detection sensitivity that the car can pick up on the ECU. Ultimately, and spoiler warning, as you guys can tell from this video, that didn't fix the issue. So what are we gonna do to actually remedy the actual problem and not really do a Band-Aid fix solution? We're gonna send out the 1700s to Injector Dynamics, and from there, more than likely, I'm probably just gonna end up getting their 1750s, which they now sell because 1700s are discontinued, or we're gonna go the FIC route and step down from 17 to 1650. Just to give you guys some advice, if you're looking at used injectors on Facebook Marketplace or whatever other platform, don't do it. Just don't buy them. Don't waste your time. Just save up a little bit more money, and that way you're not gonna deal with the headaches that I had to do, because at this point I've been chasing this issue for the last 2 weeks and it's been really eating up my time. Anyhow, I do appreciate you guys checking in on this video, making sure the STI is all right. I do appreciate all your guys' comments and concerns, but the STI is fine. It's not gonna go anywhere for the meantime. And I do appreciate all the new subscribers we recently got to the channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I honestly can't believe it. I do appreciate every single one of you guys that likes, comments, and shares and all that stuff. I do have another video coming up this week. We're gonna be talking about the, I guess, status of the channel, things to come, the future plans and all that stuff that I kind of touched on previous videos, but I'll go into a little bit more detail in this one. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one.